let's take this thing apart and see what it actually is before we use it. Well, it's always cool when one of your subscribers to the channel pays a lot of attention to it. I was using the air hose the other day on one of the videos, and I was blowing off one of the hot rods or one of the Porsches that I was doing body work on. The gentleman noticed something. Oh, I knew about it, and I've always tried to do something about it, and I never really could. I bought all kinds of expensive gadgets. What I'm talking about is moisture in your airline. That stuff is deadly to your tools. It's deadly to your bare metal paint when you're blowing stuff off, and I'm always careful with it. Now, my airlines inside of my paint booth run through filters to filter out all the moisture, but my air tools don't, and I have had it in the past. Well, he was sharing his product with me, and I'm going to share it with you. And this is not a sponsored video, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like now, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after I get it installed. But it's a product from Steel Camel. Steel Camel. It's pretty simple, and I didn't mind paying the money for it, and it wasn't very bad at all, actually. So this is actually the first time I'm opening it up, so I don't even know what I got. I'm curious. I watched a couple of videos on it. It's highly recommended by some other folks out there, and I'm like, what the heck? Let's try it out and see, because anything is better than what I've got now, which is nothing. Well, it looks fancy, but it's a water separator for your compressor. And this is a whole shop filter. This is to filter out your entire air coming from the compressor to anything that it goes to. So this will actually pre-filter the stuff going into my paint area. So he recommended that I take it apart, and it's actually put together. It comes with the thread tape. It comes with everything that you need to final assemble it. And everybody's compressors are different. Your setups are different. Your airlines are different. So this will accommodate all of that because they know that you're going to be modifying it. So yeah, let's take this thing apart and see what it actually is before we use it. You want to? So how do you know what you're getting without taking it apart? Steel Camel airline filter. It's up to 125 PSI, which is about where most of your air tools need to be. Open air valve and check for water. And there's an air valve on the bottom, so you can check to see if there's moisture inside there. So let's just see what's stopping the water from getting in there. Should we take it apart? So inside, it looks like it's got a some sort of a paper element that keeps the moisture from getting into your air supply. I'm not a engineer or a scientist or anything like that, so I can't tell you that much about it. But evidently, it works good. But I wanted you to see what was on the inside, and I don't want you to think I'm trying to sell snake oil here. But I read the reviews before I bought it, and I also reached out to some of the other guys that are using these things, and it all looks good to me. So let's put this back together if we can. Hopefully I didn't screw it up, and we'll see what this thing does. All right, so there's where I mounted it. I mounted it on the front of the compressor there so that I can adjust the regulator down if I needed to. It's preset at 120. That's where they recommend you use it and not to go over 125 because of the cartridge. Also, it's easy to change the cartridge right there. And I can also still get back to my compressor. Now my compressor is set at 180 because of a couple of pieces of equipment that I've got. Let's go ahead and hook this up. I've got a quick connect on it where I can hook my hose directly to there, and I've already got it plumbed. So let's see if this thing works. All right, so I made that call I was telling you about, and I called Dan up at Steel Camel, and he sent me something to where I can show you guys exactly how this product works. He thought it was cool that I did a video about it. So he didn't even send me a free t-shirt, but he sent me some stuff to show you guys exactly what's going on here. So he said put about 4 to 6 ounces of water in a clear cup. I got a paint cup. We'll see if that works. Just to prove that it's water. Almost frozen. So we can add all right. Also sent me a little sheet here. Fill a plastic cup up with 4 to 6 ounces of water. Add the powder. Now, had the UPS guy got pulled over, he might have been in a little bit of trouble. They would have wanted to do a sniff test. I don't know if I'd sniff this stuff though. All right, so it says to empty one of these packets into the water and wait to see what happens. All right, so here's the packet. It doesn't say shake it or anything weird. Let's see what the next step is. Wait 10 minutes. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. We're gonna fast forward through this part, guys. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Well, I was trying to figure out what happened. I put 4 to 6 ounces in. Uh-oh. And it turned to this. Let me get back in the cup. That's crazy. That happened within seconds. So anyway, let's leave it in there for 10 minutes like it says, and then we'll go to the next step. That literally happened in seconds. So I'll tell you what this stuff is in just a minute. Okay, so we waited the 10 minutes, and it says reach inside, take a golf ball size blob and squeeze it and see if you can get any water out of it. So here is that powder. That's about a golf ball size. And we're gonna squeeze it. I didn't see any water at all. Matter of fact, let's put it inside of a rag that I know will hold the water. See what happens. All right, so I put that inside there. Squeeze the rag. You know, these things turn dark blue when they get water on them. Like, let's see. Here's the water. You see how quick that got dark blue? Well, it didn't when I squeezed that stuff out of it, whatever that stuff is. All right, so just like I was showing you, this is one of the pleats. This is a pleat that the filter is made out of. If you pour water on this, it absorbs right up. In between the orange and the yellow is that white powder. So it will catch that moisture. All right, here's that white powder in here. I'm gonna go ahead and make a test for myself. Now this has been absorbed up. Let's pour some more water in there and see if it continues to work that way. And that water that I just poured in there in that split second will not come out. The whole blob's gonna come out. I've got some more. Let's pour some more in there. Now he told me to put 4 to 6 ounces in there for that little bitty package that he gave me. He didn't, and he said wait 10 minutes. I don't even know why he told me to wait 10 minutes, because that package that I just put in there and that water, it is now at 22 ounces of water, roughly 22 ounces, this whole entire cup right here. And if you look at it, there is no water coming out at all. It's just that whole blob there. So that stuff continues to work even after it's already been saturated. I'm pretty impressed. I'm not sure how long the filter is going to last. We're going to give it a go. I'm probably going to wait a month at least before I push this video out. And we're going to give it a test and see what it does. And then we'll discuss what happened. So if there was ever a piece of equipment that doesn't like moisture, it's going to be this CNC plasma table. I usually just ran an inline filter right at the plasma cutter. That kept out most of the moisture, but moisture would get past that eventually, burn out my tips, and start spitting and sputtering and ruin a project. Now that I've got the inline filter, I have none of those issues anymore. I still run the inline filter. Also, on my paint booth, I have a desiccant filter system in there. I continue to run that, but the air getting to that has got to be cleaner than it was before. And I still run the canister, the little orange canister filters on the end of my gun. I guess more is better. You can never have too much filtration when it comes to moisture. Best of all, I've got something starting to filter it before it even gets to those tools. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble on. I'm starting to sound like a commercial. I'm not trying to sell you on the Steel Camel product. I'm just letting you know that I'm satisfied with it. It was a good purchase, and just sharing my thoughts with you in case you're looking for something. That's why I'm here, guys.
It's always cool when you get a new tool, especially a tool that you can trust. SteelCamel.com provided yet another tool for us guys that do our own work out in our own garage to ensure that we have good tools.
Once again, I don't want to come across as a commercial. I'm not trying to sell you one of these Steel Camel filters. I'm just letting you know that I bought one. I'm very happy with it, and I'm just going to share my experience with you so far. So, if you're having trouble around the shop, get some kind of filter. But I do recommend the Steel Camel filter. It wasn't that pricey compared to some of the other filters that I've bought over my lifetime, especially the one in the paint booth. They offer all kinds of other stuff. But thanks, Dan, for all the help, all of my questions you answered. So I just felt like you were a good enough company to send out a little infomercial to some of my guys that watch me all the time. Head on over to steelcamel.com, see what else Dan's got, and hey, if he sends me a t-shirt, I'll wear it. Now get out in the garage and go build something. See you guys in the next episode.